Nearly 1,200 people in Scotland died from drug-related deaths just last year. The Scottish Affairs Committee proposed that the UK government backs safe consumption rooms and decriminalises drug possession. I spoke to Mitchell, a 26-year-old who sleeps rough in Ferryhill, Aberdeen, to find out his experience of witnessing drug abuse on the streets of Scotland. Is this where you live?
Yeah, literally. Literally live here.
Wrapper, that's obviously a needle. That's a tray that they cook the heroin up in.
What do you think the Scottish Government could do then in terms of prevention and helping people that are already struggling with addiction or in situations like yourself where you have to witness it?
A clean place to do it would be beneficial to everybody, because, for instance, this place that I'm sleeping had probably a previous inhabitant who was on heroin, and there's needles everywhere. But if there was safe places for them to do this, it wouldn't be such a dirty sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, a needle without the cap on, if it goes through your shoe, you know, you can catch all sorts of dirty shit. And it's just, it could be prevented completely by the government doing more to help. But see, these addictions are actually very serious. These people can't, it's not like smoking a cigarette. You can't just say, I don't want to smoke it. I'm not. It's I've noticed it's very hard for these people to get off it. Very hard. So there has to be some sort of understanding. And I think less people would die if they were having doctors or nurses actually giving them their fix. Because a lot of these junkies, they die because the person injecting them wants to rob them, and they give them too much heroin, so they're passed out, so they can rob them. Or if an air bubble gets in their needle and they don't notice because they're so wired up, and that'll kill them.
I spoke to Councillor Alan Donnelly to find out why he thinks Scotland has the highest recorded drug-related deaths in Europe.
Well, the National Health Service is devolved. It's not British, it's not Westminster. It's Nicola Sturgeon's, house. It's Nicola Sturgeon's, domain, if you like. The NHS, transport, that's all devolved to the Scottish Parliament, the Scottish Government, for them to decide on health issues and how they fund Grampian Health Board, how they fund Tayside Health Board, how they fund, Greater Glasgow Health Board with funds and money, and their priorities to me are not putting money into the health service. Their priorities are this constitutional argument having all the time about a second referendum and a third referendum on independence or separation. If she concentrated on the day job, which is the NHS, she's taken away funding, Nicola Sturgeon, on drug rehabilitation, monies from, and we perhaps need a new strategy to tackle.
I think SNP government has come up with a new strategy, but they're trying to. What it is that Westminster is in charge of the
you see, this is it. I think they've got you propagandised. For the last, since 1999, 20 years, the health service has got nothing to do in Scotland with Westminster. It's nothing to do with Westminster. It's to do the way it's run here in Scotland, funded here from the block grant, the Barnett formula, the £35 billion a year that the UK Treasury, the British UK Treasury, hand out to the Scottish Government to spend on the health service, agriculture, transport, local government, and all the rest that money goes to. They decide to divvy it up. They want to waste it on referendums, all that, but they are not spending enough money on health. The health boards are not getting the money, so they're not getting the money. And they prioritise to fund, drug-related packages and help and support. And that is the bottom line. And she even admits to that, Nicola Sturgeon.
I was talking more about drug legislation being criminalised.
I hear where you're coming from. That is the Class A, Class B, Class C drugs is a UK a reserved power, not a devolved power. Now she wants to decriminalise Class C drugs, which is cannabis resin. Now that's a debate and an argument we've had. We did actually declassify it for a few years, but these people are taking heroin and cocaine, which is Class A drugs. Class A drugs. Now, a lot of people have made this is legalise them. So if we legalise Class A drugs, then we'd have about 60,000 deaths on our hands straight away, because it'd be a free for all. Now, if you want to go along
this has worked
line
in Portugal.
Pardon?
This has actually worked the same the same sort of
No,
legislation
I've been to
in
Lisbon.
Toronto
I've been
and
to
Portugal,
Lisbon and seen.
and the drug deaths have it.
I've been to
much less
Lisbon
than
and I've
ours.
seen them dealing drugs in the main street. Yep, I've seen them dealing drugs in the main. Small quantities for personal use, not gangs making millions of pounds by importing illegally drugs into the UK, into Scotland. In Portugal, small amounts for personal use. Now, we started up with Class C drugs, cannabis, small amounts, and then that was made illegal again.
In Aberdeen, it's groups like AIR who provide a community to people who suffer with addiction.
My own personal opinion, and I'm not making this statement as an AIR opinion, it is my personal opinion. I think any move to make to decriminalise the possession of drugs for personal use is a very positive move forward for the government. It's one of the proactive measures that the Scottish Government seem to be willing to investigate, that will place Scotland in as world leaders on how we are approaching and dealing with the issue of addiction in all its complexities.
How is this Scottish Government supporting you right now?
We have been very lucky recently. It was granted in the end of last year, 2018. It takes a little bit of time for these things to come through, but we were granted through the local Alcohol and Drugs Partnership and the IGB board grant funding recurring for the next 3 years.
We hit the streets of Aberdeen to find out what Aberdonians struggling with drug addiction think about the Scottish Government proposing to decriminalise drug use.
It would just make life easier. I mean, it wouldn't be so much, if you decriminalised it, the police would be less occupied. We'd have more time to spend than other times.
I think if you could hear it, there's a certain amount you were allowed half, maybe. Yeah, as long as I can, because some people can go into drug crack psychosis and stuff with this. You take too much of it.
Currently, drug legislation is reserved to Westminster. The Home Office said it has no plans to decriminalise drug possession, and what Scotland should be focusing on is drug-related health treatment. Jax and Claire reporting for Aberdeen.